Nightcast. Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth brings you the current news from the world today and how it relates to Bible prophecy. Understanding the end-time events leading to the peaceful world tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to this July 22nd, 2015, Wednesday night edition of Nightcast. What may be the world's oldest fragments of the Koran has been found by the University of Birmingham. We're talking about Birmingham, England. And radiocarbon dating found the manuscript to be at least 1,370 years old, making it among the earliest in existence. Now, many of you who watch this program know what I know and understand, and that is the Quran is kind of like, to real money, it's kind of like fake money. It is a book of religion to the Muslim people. And yet, I'm sorry to inform you, friends. No, actually, I'm not sorry to inform you. We're here to tell you the truth. That is an anti-Bible. That is not God's word. But because so many people adhere to it as a religion and believe it is the word of their God, we're going to give you this story tonight on something many people consider to be an important. They even call the Roman Empire, when it's going to be revived and the Roman Catholic Church is involved with it, they're going to call it the Holy Roman Empire. And when you know the whole story of how the Muslim religion and the Quran was developed, the Vatican Church happens to be behind that also. That happens to be a story for another time, though. We are going to take a look at this find of an original, and the book is an original creation. When you know the whole story of how it was created around 600 A.D., and who was behind it, it makes a very interesting thing in history and the facts of life to take a look at. But let's take a look at this story from today's news with Sean Copeland.
You're looking at one of the oldest fragments of the Quran ever discovered. It's written on parchment, most likely made from sheep or goat skin, and it's been dated by experts as being more than 1,300 years old. And that makes it among the earliest known fragments of the Quran anywhere in the world. And it's here, in the University of Birmingham. This remarkable document had been resting on the shelves of the university library for decades without anybody realising just how old it was, until a researcher decided to take a closer look. The pages were radiocarbon dated to no later than the year 645, which means the university has found one of the very earliest known examples.
Finding out that we had one of the oldest fragments of the Quran in the whole world was fantastically exciting, individually and for the university as well. I mean, we were expecting it to be early, but we did not, I think in our wildest dreams, expect that it would roughly correlate to the lifespan of the Prophet Muhammad, which makes it an incredibly early Quranic fragment.
The manuscript had been stored here in a collection of Middle Eastern documents brought to Birmingham in the 1920s. Academics here say that this discovery goes back to the earliest years of Islam.
The person who actually wrote it may well have known the Prophet Muhammad. He would have seen him probably. He would maybe have heard him preach. He may have known him personally. And that really is quite a thought to conjure with.
Birmingham has one of the country's biggest Muslim communities, and they have welcomed having such a treasure in their city.
When I saw these pages, I was very much moved, and there were tears of joy and emotions in my eyes. And I am quite sure that even the people from all over UK would come here to Birmingham to just have a glimpse of these pages. People would love this. This
is an exceptionally rare and valuable discovery, and the university says it will be put on public display. It has no intention of letting these pages from world history leave Birmingham. Sean Copeland, BBC News.
Now, friends, I'm quite aware that it makes some of you who tune into this program, I've gotten some of your hate email. It makes you want to throw your shoes at me for some of the things you hear me say about these things. But whether you find out the truth now or you wait until Jesus Christ returns to find out the truth, you're actually better off finding out the truth now. And the Koran is a counterfeit book for a counterfeit religion. And in that sense, you can say that the book, the religion, is an anti-Christ religion. They try to put Mohammed ahead of Christ. And I guarantee you, the father of Christ, the father of Jesus, the Christ, not too happy about that. And you'll see the results of that during the day of the Lord. Now, before we go to our next story, friends, I want to switch over to our, we've got to do it this way. Let's see. Well, we'll leave this one up because for a moment I have to switch our switching bank. Actually, it becomes this simple. Now, I want to go to our chart for a moment and bring that full screen. And the very first seal of the 7 seals mentioned in the book of Revelation, in the Holy Bible, the truly Holy Bible, the Bible written by inspiration of our Creator, the great Creator God. And in Revelation, He gives us something that's been sealed, that's now been opened. And they are the 7 seals of the book of Revelation. The first seal being depicted in Revelation 6 as a white horse. And Jesus Christ having explained what is this white horse in plain language via the gospel writers Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. Jesus Christ said, "Beware, there are many who will come in my name, saying I'm Christ, and they'll deceive many." Now, the church that helped write the Koran does that. They come preaching Jesus, and yet they deceive many. They helped write the Koran, according to one of the former Jesuits who worked in the Vatican. And he was under a secret oath for a long time, but once he was out of there and felt he was no longer under the secret oath, he explained what's in the documents that show you how the Roman Catholic Church helped finance and write the Koran way back there, around 600 AD, roughly. And the dating of this, 1,300 years ago, do your arithmetic, that puts you real close to 600 AD, a little after, when the book was supposed to have been written. Now, it was no doubting that the book was written, but it's a counterfeit. It represents a counterfeit religion. And just like when you make money, that's a counterfeit. Oh, yeah, it looks like the real thing, and here it is. You got this Koran. It looks like, to some people, it's a holy book. But it's no more holy than the Holy Catholic Church. Some of you will know what I'm saying. Some of you say, "What in the world are you talking about, mister? The Roman Catholic Church, the big church of this world?" Yeah, and the God of this world is behind that church. All right, we tell you the truth here. It makes a lot of people angry with me. I know, I realize that. Some, like I said, some people want to throw their shoes at me. Some might even want to do worse. But I look to the great God for my protection, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and we'll just leave it at that. Now, I've got one more story for you tonight, because some of you know I did an extremely short program last night, and I told you we'd be doing a couple or 3 nights of short programs. We're doing another short one again tonight because I spent all day working with remodeling plumbing project, and I had to drive out to pick up the plumber, bring him here, drive him home, and it wiped out my day. And I worked with him. I actually worked with him. And what I'm doing is, and I'll try to not make this program too much about me, but some of you wondering, why such short programs last night and tonight and maybe even tomorrow night? Well, the news is allowing us to do that. I need to get this plumbing project finished. And I'll just tell you, I was quoted over $8,000 if I just had a certain plumbing company come in and whoosh, boom, do the work. But I'm getting it done for under $2,000. In fact, just a little bit over $1,000 by hiring independent plumber and helping him. Some plumbers will charge you more if you try to help them, but in my case, the plumber's glad I'm helping him, and we're knocking it out. And it's a big project, a lot of corroded pipe having to be replaced. 50-year-old home where we have the studio from which I provide this program for those of you who watch. All right, one more story, just one more story for tonight, and then I'm going to close it up, and then we'll be back tomorrow night to see what's happening tomorrow. And my plumber man believes that we'll probably not spend as much time tomorrow as we spent today. Of course, he also thought we'd finish it. Yesterday, he thought we'd finish it today, but anyway, he thinks, and I think we're close. We're close. There's certain things, a panel we're putting together. Maybe I'll take a picture and show you that, to show you we're putting something nice together. It's actually something to help prevent from having an excess water bill. I wish somebody might do a story on that one time, because last year I had an excess water bill of $200 when we sprang a little leak. And this year I had an excess water bill of over $1,100, over $1,000, a little over $1,100 excess water bill from a real major leak that happened at the foot of the foundation and filled the basement up with 5 or 6 feet of water, and we didn't know what happened until we got the bill. Boom. Because there were no leaks outside that were obvious, and anyway, what's usually a $15 or $20 a month bill all of a sudden comes in as a $1,100 bill. Well, actually, it was in two parts. It was $800, and then the other $300 came later. Because by the time they billed the $800, there was $300 more rand that showed up on the next bill. And, I'm telling you about that because probably everybody needs to take some kind of precaution when you've got something that's normally a $15 a month bill that can spring a leak and all of a sudden become a $1,000 bill you owe that was normally in your budget for $15. Well, something's wrong there. When you've got something that can become huge that's normally small in a form of a bill, you may be better, you be wise to have, and I ordered this thing from China that measures the water flow, and more than one day's worth of water flows, it shuts off the water and tells me you got a problem. So we're installing that and a few other things that will alert us to something with water flowing more than it should in a certain space of time. Some of you might want to take the same kind of precaution. All right, but I've saved the major news story to last, just this one more story we have for tonight, and then either tomorrow night or Sunday, we're going to have an analysis of what's happening in Turkey that I believe you'll find extremely interesting. Something I'm studying right now. I'll either have it ready, if we finish that plumbing work early tomorrow, I'll have it ready tomorrow night. If not, we'll have it for Sunday night, God willing. But out of Turkey, a mass funeral has taken place for most of the 32 activists killed in a suicide bomb attack in Suruc near the Syrian border. In this video, you'll see mourners weeping, shouting slogans, and they're clutching the coffins as they were lined up in the courtyard of a mosque. The coffins were taken to their hometowns for burial. Jim Muir has this report.
Emotions running high at the funeral for two of the more than 30 young people who died in the massive blast. Most of them were from other parts of Turkey, but these two were from here in Suruc, this largely Kurdish town near the Syrian border. The anger being felt here isn't just against the militants of the so-called Islamic State. Much of it is directed against the Turkish authorities.
One thing is for sure, this explosion and the death of more than 30 young people here has done nothing for Kurdish relations with the Turkish state. Among the slogans being chanted at this angry funeral are Erdogan, the president of Turkey, the killer.
More than 200 young socialists, both Turks and Kurds, had come together in Suruc to plan a trip across the Syrian border to Kobani. They were hoping to help reconstruct the town, shattered by months of battle as Syrian Kurdish fighters drove out the IS militants. Seconds later, their idealistic jamboree was shattered when a huge explosion went off right in their midst. All those at the center of the blast died. Dozens of others were badly injured. The toys they had gathered to take to the children of Kobani now lie where the young people died. A Turkish doctor who was with them and helped tend the wounded explained why people are angry with the government.
It's the Turkish state which is guilty here. This is the Turkish town. The young people came here in buses, and the police stopped and searched them 9 times between Istanbul and here. But they didn't stop the bomber.
The Prime Minister, Ahmet Davutoglu, and other top officials have strongly condemned the attack. They say they're beefing up border security, and they absolutely deny they've been turning a blind eye to the IS militants. But as they bury their dead, the people in this Kurdish corner of Turkey are not convinced. They believe the government encouraged IS to suppress the Kurds. The bombing has opened fresh wounds. Jim Muir, BBC News, Suruc in southern Turkey.
And friends, that's it for this Wednesday night report. God willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll be back again tomorrow night, Thursday night, with at least the day's top news story, maybe more. Thanks for joining me tonight. This is until next time, friends. This is your host, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth, for Nightcast, saying so long and good night, friends.
You have been watching Nightcast with Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth. Nightcast can be seen Sunday through Thursday nights here on cogtv.org. Tonight's program is also available anytime on demand in the cogtv.org video archive.